long breath. Fill the body with respiration. And release through the mouth. Allow the shoulders to drop. Big inhale. Relax the face. Big inhale, sit up tall. And release. Let's grip the ground. Pull the chest through the arms and take a nice deep breath in. Stretch out the belly. Squeeze the spine, and on the exhale, round the upper back, tuck the tailbone and push. Big long inhale, come through. Big long exhale, come back. Move with your own breath and really squeeze out the most from each posture. Getting deep into the spine to the extent that your body allows access. You don't want to force anything. Last inhale through. And exhale, push back to downward facing dog. So down dog is a really good posture for opening our shoulders, which is so key in everyday life because it affects our breathing so much. And a lot of injuries take place in the shoulders. So bring the head all the way through the shoulders, opening them up as much as you can. Heels down to the ground. And breathe deeply. Long breaths. You can even close your eyes in down dog. Let's inhale and roll to a high plank. Hold here for a nice 5 seconds. Push back through the heels. Press through the ground, separating the shoulder blades. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees lower down to the ground. Chest comes through chaturanga. Inhale, press into a cobra. Slide back to give yourself a bit more room. Or take the hands in front. Open through the chest and shoulders. And gaze towards the sky. Good. Let's bring the forearms to the ground. Push back. Sitting the hips backwards. Knees and toes come together. And then we press the legs nice and straight. Pull the head through. Take the hips up nice and high. Walking those feet in slowly to a point that feels nice and comfortable. Dolphin pose. This one can be really challenging, especially around the shoulders. So really focus on the breath. And taking the head through the arms. Pressing the elbows into the ground. Good. Let's bring our knees to the mat. Chest comes through. And press up into cobra. Just start moving into the spine, twisting and turning left and right. And press back to downward facing dog. Walk the feet in slightly so that our heels can come closer to the ground. Pull the head through, rotate the elbows towards the ground. Bring the belly towards the thighs. Let's take our right leg nice and high behind. And we'll step all the way through with the right foot. Left knee to the ground, raise through the arms. Breathe. Deepening on the exhale. Lengthening on the inhale. Open into the posture gradually. Good. Let's take our hands to the ground. And we'll step back, placing our right foot next to the left, twisting onto the outer edge of our right foot, side plank. Left foot can come in front for support. This makes it a lot easier. Raise through that left arm. If we want to go deeper or more intensely, bring that left leg to join the right. But ultimately, for an easier posture, more accessible, that left foot. Squeeze through the right arm for 3, 2, 1. Left hand to the ground. Back to downward facing dog. And let's bring our forearms to the mat. Feet come together, walk them in to a point that feels comfortably challenging. Press the elbows into the ground and forwards, pushing the head through the arms, tailbone high, shoulders relaxed. Deepening into the breath. Knees comes to the ground, swoop the chest through and press into Cobra once again. If Cobra is too challenging on the arms, we can always use Sphinx or the wrists. Sphinx pose helps us to take the pressure off the wrists and come more onto the elbows and hands. When you're ready, press back into downward facing dog. Right foot steps in nice and close so the heel can come down, head comes through, left leg raises nice and high, and step the left foot in between the hands. Right knee comes to the ground, raise through the arms, lengthening on the inhale, deepening on the exhale. Maybe walk those toes back if you need to create a little bit more space. And exhale, hands to the ground. Left foot comes next to the right. Roll over to the left side. Side plank, choose your variation. Right foot comes in front for nice support, or we take the right foot on top of the left. Raising through the right arm, keeping our hips side on. Can even raise through the right knee, which is unstable, or extend through that leg. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll to a nice high plank. Straight arms, level hips. Press back through the heels. Good. Let's take our collarbones just down a little bit by bringing the chest up and through. Press through the arms. Left hand comes up and keep all your strength in the right arm. It's going to be hard. You can use your knee if you want for support. but try and stay over the mat for 5, 4, level hips, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Come onto the knees, sit back through the hips. Child's pose. Good, inhale. Roll back into a high plank. Grip the ground. Collarbones drop. Core engaged and press back through the heels. Notice with the core the difference between here and here. Squeeze and everything. This time, right arm comes up. Keep your hips level to the ground. A wider stance makes it easier. Keep that collarbone dropped for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press back to downward dog. Good job. Knees to the ground. Swoop through into cobra. Breathe for a moment. Gaze to the sky. And sit back into child's pose once again. Open those knees nice and wide. Big toes together. Forehead on the ground. Just using this as a moment to remember your intention that we spoke about before, the obstacles, the challenges, and reconnect with your intent to bring in a better reality, to bring in a positive result. The biggest problem is that the mind is just so scattered, and so it forgets its intentions and goals. This is why writing it down is so powerful. But use this moment to remember. And when you're ready, there to come out after that rest and press back into downward facing dog. So we walk the feet forwards, pressing those heels down. We take the hips up high. We pull the belly in and the head comes through. Arms are nice and straight. And the right leg comes up very high and then steps in between the hands. This time low lunge. Let's peel back through the left heel. Keep our right knee above the ankle or somewhere around that area. Raise through the arms. Let's take our left hand around the right knee and right arm comes behind for a twist. Breathe, stay strong through the feet. Lengthening the spine on the inhale, pressing back through the left heel. Exhale, twist. And let's bring our hands to the ground. Back to downward facing dog. Left leg comes up nice and high. Step it in between the hands. Press back through the right heel. Lean in through the left leg, deepening into the lunge. Raise through the arms. When you're ready, right hand comes to the outside of the left leg. We'll go deeper next, but for now, right hand and our left arm comes behind. Squeeze on the exhale. Lengthen on the inhale. Press through the feet. Face the challenge. Let's bring our hands to the ground and press back to downward facing dog. Those legs might be burning, so we'll bring it into the shoulders, come onto the forearms, dolphin pose, walking the feet in, pressing the heels down, elbows push into the ground and forwards, head comes through. Breathe in here deeply for 3. Hips come high. 2. Belly squeezes in. And 1. Bringing our knees to the ground. Swoop through into cobra. And exhale. Back into downward facing dog. Right foot steps in, so the heel can squeeze down. Left leg comes up nice and high, and steps in between the hands. Press back through the right heel once again. This time inhale, lengthen through the right arm. Elbow and armpit come over the left leg. Press those palms together. Twist as you squeeze on the exhale. Don't push too hard. Sink deeper into the lunge. Taking the twist into the lower back. Relax the left shoulder. And place the hands on the ground. Right knee and toes still on the ground, but sink back through the hips, straighten out that left leg. Find yourself nice and tall in the spine. Left hip pulls back. On the exhale, bring the belly onto the left thigh and the head towards the toes. Flexing through the ankle, pointing the toes upwards. Reconnecting to our deep breath. And coming back onto the left foot. Press back into downward dog. Just feel the difference in the left leg right now. Notice how the left leg feels so light compared to the right. Let's take our right leg up nice and high, left heel squeezes down, and step the right foot in between. Left heel pulls back, press through the right foot, raise through the left arm, elbow and armpit come around the leg, palms together. Twist on the exhale. Deepen into the lunge. Relax the right shoulder. Both shoulders. And bring the hands to the ground. Left knee and toe on the mat. Sink back through the right hip. Inhale, long spine. Pull back through the right leg. Spine's nice and long. Exhale, belly comes to the thigh. Do your best to avoid shrugging in the upper back. Keeping the spine nice and tall, long, parallel to the ground. And instead walking ourselves forwards as opposed to coming down. Walking forwards. When you've reached the limit, on the exhale, start to sink deep into the posture. Pull back on the hip. Find how it works for you. Explore with the feeling of the stretch. Good. Right foot comes back onto the ground. And press back. Downward facing dog. Let's inhale, roll to a high plank. Squeeze the ground with the fingers. Take those hips level to the shoulders. Press back through the heels. And hold here with nice straight arms. Press through those arms, so your arms are straight. And slowly exhale with or without the knees, chaturanga. Inhale into cobra or up dog with the thighs off the ground. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Breathe. Good, and let's now start to get into the lower body and into some nice passive postures. Let's raise through the right leg and take the left knee behind the right knee behind the right wrist. Squeezing back, pulling back through those left toes into half pigeon. Extend it through the fingers, tall in the spine. Notice how the hips feel. Gently start to move into the hip as it opens, and find yourself coming deeper and deeper, bringing the belly forwards, but keeping ourselves long by pulling back through those left toes. Sink into the posture. The belly button comes forwards. Maybe bringing the forehead to the ground, if it isn't already. And just listen to the silence. Nice big inhale. Let's come out of the posture, onto the hands. Grip the ground with the fingers, walk the left toes in so that we can push into a plank and take our right knee to the right tricep. Just squeeze them two together for 3, 2, 1, and press back into downward facing dog. Left leg comes up nice and high, right heel squeezes down. Left knee comes behind the left wrist. And we peel back through the right toes. The left shin comes as parallel as you can make it to the front of the mat. This makes the posture more or less intense. So if that shin is parallel to the front, it's going to be very intense. But if I pull that foot in, it's going to be less intense. High on the fingertips, find your level of intensity. Start to sink into the posture, moving left to right, just kind of melting into that hip. Coming deeper and deeper, bringing the belly button through and towards the ground. Forehead rests on the mat. If that's available, or we can use our hands as a shelf. The more we position the upper body over that leg, the more we can feel ourselves deepening into the posture. Experiment with how to get deeper. Shift the weight to find what legs. Stretch the breath to feel the effect. Okay. Let's start to ease out of the posture. Walk the right toes in until our shoulders are over the wrists. Grip the ground, press into our three-legged plank. Left knee to the left tricep, squeeze for 3. Round the upper back, 2. Engage the core, 1. Back to downward facing dog. Last time in dolphin pose, let's bring both elbows to the ground at the same time. Let's see if we can do that. Take your time. If that's too much, go one at a time. We don't want to injure anything. We want to stay healthy. Walk the feet in, squeeze the heels down, push the elbows into the ground and forwards, bringing the head through the shoulders. And our knees come to the ground as we sweep the chest through, pressing into cobra on the inhale and exhale, back into child's pose. And just unravel the spine to a kneeling posture. Let's take the hands behind the back, clasp the fingers together, open through the chest, and exhale. Forehead to the ground, pull the arms overhead. Shoulder blades drop. And just breathe in as we open up the upper spine. Resting back in child's pose. Taking the head to one side. Resting here for a few breaths. And taking the head to the opposite side. Relaxing the neck completely. Good. Let's roll out of our child's pose. Come straight onto the mat, onto our bellies. Left hand pressed firmly into the mat, presses us up into a cobra sort of position. Right arm comes through until we come onto our right shoulder. Yeah? So left hand nice and straight, creates this gap. Right arm comes through, so we're on the right shoulder. And then we want to gaze in front, squeezing that shoulder to the ground, keeping that left arm in front. Pressing that shoulder into the ground as we gaze right ahead. The more we press the shoulder into the ground, the more we feel the opening in that shoulder. This is kind of like a pigeon pose for the shoulder. Imagine that shoulder's like the hip. Okay, roll them back onto the shoulder, untuck, and take that right hand to the position where the left hand was, opposite side. Extend through the arms, cobra. Left arm comes through. Right arm reaches straight ahead. Turn the torso back so it's facing into the ground. Find the position that works for you. It also helps to bring the left palm onto the ground. Stretch out through the right arm. Create openness in the chest. And pull the left shoulder down to the ground. Stay level, looking straight on. Squeeze the right elbow towards the ground. And roll back onto that left shoulder. Untuck. And let's press back into a Sphinx pose. This time, similar thing. Let's take our left knee up to the height of the left hip. Kind of like a half frog position. Left arm comes nice and straight, right arm comes underneath, just like we did then, but this time, left arm comes up and we twist to the left side. So we want that left knee to be up at the level of the left hip. We can also take hold of the left leg with the right arm and allow ourselves to come deeper into that twist. Unraveling back to the center. And let's take the opposite side. Press into cobra. Bring our right knee to the height, the level of the right hip. Straight right arm. Left arm comes through the gap as far as we can onto the shoulder. And right arm reaches up and over. Breathe as you deepen. And come back to the center. Sphinx pose. Elbows squeeze back, which brings the chest through. Gaze to the sky. And relax, resting on any side of the face. Arms at the sides of the body. Finally, let's bring our hands to frame the chest. Press into cobra. Gaze to the sky. And we'll take our right arm in front, sweep the left arm under, like we did just before, and bringing ourselves into Shavasana on the back. Squeeze the knees into the chest. Roll out the spine. Open down the spine. Good. And as we swoop back, extend the legs, bringing them overhead. Hips come nice and high. Into plow pose. The key here is to keep the chin to the chest and the hips nice and high. An empty stomach also helps. Slowly and gradually bring the spine back onto the ground. One vertebra at a time. We're just massaging particular areas that need a little bit extra work. Just before the legs come down to the ground, press the lower back into the mat. Arms reach in front, palms together, upper back comes off the ground. This is a low boat position. The hand can't get underneath the lower back because it's pressed into the mat. Maybe bring the knees in if that's what you need to do. Keep that lower back pressed into the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest in Shavasana. Palms faced up to the sky. Body restful on the mat. And just feel into the body. Noticing any areas of tension, maybe in the face, the toes or the hands, fingers. And just move your attention through the body, relaxing any excess, unnecessary tension in the body. Just become aware of how the body feels from head to toe. The fingers and the palms are relaxed. And the toes, the soles of the feet and the heels are relaxed. And finally, just bringing our awareness, moving our attention into the heart, into the center of the heart. Feeling what's there. And coming back to our initial intention at the start of the practice. Envisioning this future version of ourselves. Really stepping into that vision, seeing ourselves 10 out of 10, feeling great about ourselves, proud of ourselves. Just feeling that in the heart. What does it feel like to have health, energy, freedom in the body? allow that feeling to fill the body. Completely filling you up from head to toe. Let's start to move through the fingers, the toes and the ankles. Let's stay connected to that feeling in the heart, or just the awareness in our bodies right now. Step the feet in. Walk the heels nice and close to the body. Press the hips up nice and high into a bridge pose. Reach the arms overhead. Press through the heels. And lowering back onto the ground. Rolling onto our side. And finding our way back to seated. Just stay connected to that feeling. Maybe placing a hand on the heart. And allowing the hand to move with the breath. Expanding fully on the inhale. Feel the connection between hand and body, and exhale. Allowing the chest to collapse. Breathing in one final breath of life. And exhale. Great.